What's up, everybody? We are back at it again with another video. Today I wanted to call it The Art of Suffering by Jordan Peterson. So let's go.
Life isn't fair, is it? Doesn't appear to be very fair. Because ended it in that regard, but
I don't know if an adventure is fair. I don't even know if that's what we want. Now, what are we built for? We're built for maximal challenge. And that isn't the way we view ourselves in the modern world. We view ourselves as built for pleasure. We view ourselves as built for consumption, or for safety, or for maybe for egotistical self-aggrandizement and fame. Those are, look, all of those things are better than their absence, let's say. What are we built for? I think we're built for maximal challenge. Well, humility is starting where you are. That's what humility is. And it's annoying because, like if your life is a mess, then you have to see that you're the person in that mess. And then you have to understand that your first attempt to redress the mess might not be something you're particularly proud of, I mean, I saw this lots in my clinical practice where people the first steps they had to take to put things in order were pretty embarrassing. It's like, really? That's all I can do? Hey, man, uphill is better than downhill. And okay, so it lays out a view of the world. Progress, regression. So even if you have to start small, you accrue success exponentially.
You accrue success exponentially too. You accrue defeat exponentially too. When you defeated versus when you have success, that is where you stand out. That is where you are unique. That is where you are on your last stand of whatever it is you're accruing not sexually. Accruing success-wise and accruing exponentially defeat too. It depends upon where you are truly trying to go, what you're truly trying to say, what you're truly trying to unlock, what you're truly trying to believe. Because at the same time, you may never know where this life will lead you to, which is the best part about life. That's why I enjoy making content so much, is because I could talk about topics for a long time. But at the same time, I don't really know everything in the whole entire world, which is why I'm trying to make as much content as humanly possible and try to make $5,000 within 6 months of starting my school. I've had my school for about 2 months already. I have about, if I counted it, I probably have close to like 160 to 200 school activities just within a matter of 2 months. And I'm keeping it completely free for the next month. Everything.
You defeat exponentially too. That's the abyss that is hell. You start going downhill.
That's the abyss. That is the hell that you start going downhill. You start going uphill exponentially. It depends upon what the abyss is, what you're truly trying to look for, what you're truly trying to get, what you're truly trying to say, understand, believe, think, act. Because without action, there is nothing but the abyss of the hell that is waiting to be resigning into you and waiting to be understood without this certain direction of hell.
You go downhill faster and faster. Start going uphill. You go uphill faster and faster. So even if you have to start small, or even painfully small, which is highly probable, especially if you're trying to tackle something that's really plagued you, it doesn't really matter.
what is self-belief in this context? Because so many people are in search of two words, I guess three words, but self-belief and confidence.
Yeah?
And in this context of that small task, how is that building my self-belief or confidence?
Yeah?
If
Well, because you watch yourself do it.
And that does what to
Well,
me?
look, if you see someone, a friend, who is continually incrementally improving, you're gonna, oh, that's admirable. Well, you see the same thing in yourself. You have to develop an opinion of yourself the same way you would develop an opinion of someone else. So now, and I'm not hypothesizing about this, by the way, we know this clinically. If I want to truly help you build your confidence, rather than merely readjusting the words you say about yourself, which would be something like self-esteem, which is something that doesn't even exist, by the way. It's just a pathological concept altogether. You want confidence, okay? More to the point, you want the confidence that's based in competence. Otherwise, it's narcissistic. Okay, so how do you develop that? Well, you watch yourself exceed your limits. And then you think, oh, look at that. There's something in me that can exceed my limits. That's your true self. That's a good way of thinking about it.
And in doing so, you actually realize that limits exist and that you imposed one on yourself in the first place.
Well, that's one of the things you can realize, certainly, that also you don't exactly know where the limits are. It's like, oh, I exceeded that. It's like, okay, well, now what? What's the upward arc of exceeding limits? That's Jacob's ladder. I would say this is the promise of the kingdom of God. That's one way of thinking about it. There's no upward limit.
If you struggle with focus, this sound might change everything.
We're built to walk uphill. And when you reach the pinnacle of the hill, you want to stop and appreciate the vision, but the next thing you want is a higher hill in the distance, because it's the uphill climb that it's from the uphill climb that we derive our value. And I mean this technically. So almost all the positive emotion we feel, especially the emotion that fills us with enthusiasm, and that's to be filled with the Spirit of God, by the way, because that's what enthusiasm means. That's experienced in relationship to a goal. You want a goal that you can never attain. You want a horizon of ever-expanding possibility. And so it does happen to people because they've staked their soul on the attainment of an instrumental goal. And it can be a pretty high order goal. It was in your case. But then you think, well, now I'm there. Now what? Well, the answer can't be, well, I'm going to live in the lap of luxury and never have to leave the faith. What do you want to be, a giant infant with a gold bottle? You never have to do anything but lay in your back and suck. It's like, well, you see the problem with that as a conceptualization. It's no, you want to be like an active warrior moving uphill with your sword in hand. And that's dynamic, that's exciting. And that's why so many young men disappear into video games. That's all acted out in the video game. So they have to act that out in their own life. Not that I despise video games, because I don't, but they're not a substitute for life. We kind of experience life as if we're tossed into it, thrown into it. You know, you're male and not female, you're Hindu and not Christian, you're tall and not short. You have an arbitrary range of talents and an arbitrary range of limitations, none of which, in some sense, you chose. It's the cards you're dealt. Now, some of those are cards of privilege. You know, maybe you're born intelligent, maybe you're born symmetrical, maybe you're born healthy. Maybe you're born into a culture where it's much easier not to be absolutely deprived. Maybe your parents are rich. And so all of that, in some sense, is unearned. The way you pay for your privilege is with your virtue. I mean that most particularly. You have these opportunities and this existential guilt. And the way you expiate that and atone is by doing your best to live the best possible life you can manage, to speak the truth, to treat people with respect, to abide by the principles of the dignity of the individual, and to put your house in order. And that's how you pay for your unearned privilege. All of us.
We're all paying a certain type of privilege. It depends on what kind of privilege it truly is. And whatever it is the understanding that you are going to get better.
We all have our privileges and our curses, you know? All of us have that. That's why it's not useful to be envious of people. You know, you're a young man, you see someone drive by in a Ferrari with a blonde, and you think, my God, he's got everything. And you know, the woman in the car is a prostitute who's got a cocaine addiction, and her life is just one catastrophe after another. And he's had to lie and cheat his way into this position, and he's afraid that everything's going to come crashing down on him, and that's what you're jealous of. And it's just not that profound. You don't want someone else's fate. Man, your fate's enough, and your adventure's enough. It's plenty. It's more than you can ever fully realize. And so that's also part of the reason that we all believe that the individual has some intrinsic dignity. It's don't be so sure that your position in your room is so damn trivial. It might be your attitude towards it that's trivial. And if you're in dire straits and dire circumstances, just look at how much opportunity you have to make things better.
Look at how much opportunity you have to make things better. You can make things better as long as it makes sense to you and you understand whatever it is you're truly trying to make better.
So, not that it's easy.
It's very difficult. And knowing that it's difficult, it can come from any way, shape, or form about what you want to truly unlock, say, do, think, act. Because I don't even know if a lot of people understand me and where I'm coming from. Because a lot of people don't understand me for me and what I'm truly trying to say within my content.
Don't even want it to be easy.
Hi, my name is Tami.
I'll see you guys in the next one, and yeah, stay you. Peace.